practice, and today we're doing things a bit quicker. I have my icing already prepared in a bag. Remember, it is double bagged. The middle bag is the bag that has the icing. This outer bag only holds the tip, and this is one of the tips that I shared with you in the first video. If you haven't seen that, please go back to the channel or look here. I'll definitely link to that video. But now today I just want us to practice on the cupcakes, and then we'll practice on the high tops, the high top bars. So I'm gonna set my 3 samples over here and let's get started. Remember, you want to twist the bag in order to create a vacuum. Oh, let me back up a second. For those new people, this is definitely not sponsored by Wilton, and this is old frosting that one would use in order to make real edible cupcakes. Whenever you see cupcake soaps or a soap that has a high top, and I'll plug some pictures here, these soaps have, in some cases, a different soaping recipe, and we're definitely going to get to that part of the training. And those soaps also the entire soap itself can be the one recipe, right? It does not have to be a separate frosting recipe for your soap. But I'll share with you both recipes when we get to that. So this way you'll decide whether you want to make the one investment or if you want to have a separate batter that you mix up specifically for icing the top and creating that high top looking soap, or for creating the very tall cupcake mounted soaps. All right, so with that being said, this is a 2A Wilton tip, and all it is the round tip. Something that you'll need, something that is round or has a round base. Simulated cupcakes. I know, right? Definitely. A pair of gloves so that you don't get this all over yourself. And it's always good to practice with these, because even when making soaps, you'll definitely want to have your beautiful hands covered and protected. We can have some fun. I get a good grasp on my soap batter and my bag, so this way I can control it. And if you see at the top, my hand is making this. So what you want to do is build a base, and you have to make the C-hook, because this is going to move. All right, and that gives your soap something to hold on to. And now you're just going to follow around the circumference of this and make loops until you get to the top to end it off. I had this frosting sitting in the fridge, and so yes, it did its own thing. It's very, very stiff right now, and as it defrosts, I'm sure we're going to see more detail. That's one. And so this would be one.
That was on a cupcake I made.
That's one. So we could kind of like imagine that that would be one cupcake, right? And I'm just going to adjust my bag here to where I can get a good vacuum going. I'm going to do it again. And so changing my hand positions, squeezing from the top, creating a base, and building it up. And stop, and then C. And then now I can go around the circumference of it. And that one again, the beauty of practicing. Thankfully this is not real soap. Otherwise in my mind I'm thinking, oh.
mix it in.
And remember, you can put garnishment on the top, and then definitely we'll have another episode where we'll talk about how to label these, because you don't want people walking by thinking, oh, that's edible. Definitely share with you some information from the FDA and what's required on your labels, especially when these things imitate and look like food, and we don't want anybody mistaking this for food. This again, we're going to start with the base, and we're just going to squeeze, 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 and come up, and then stop and see. And now that we've built a little dam around it, we're going to fill it in. That's how you definitely would make a cupcake soap, high top soap. And then I could come with the rest, or I can even fill this in again. My daughter said if this was real icing, a real cupcake, she could eat all of this.
Especially if it's whipped cream frosting, because I like that type of frosting.
I think this one came out the prettiest of all.
I just need a little filling.
So for now, I just want to work some of this batter down, because I'm going to use it to build my base. All right. So I want to come down and let it fill, let it fill, let it fill. It's no longer hard. It's workable. All right, so that gives me a good base. All right, and now we're going to use that open star tip. This is a tip number 1 elm like Mary. Now let's put this, the open star to me reminds me of a ribbon. Starting at one corner. And we're just laying that ribbon all around, and we're going to fold it over itself.
If that dog don't.
And that would be a cupcake soap. Hey, thank you so much for joining us today. This is Sonia and Sage saying have a wonderful day. And this is the round tip, and this is 1 elm. Yeah, you have some in there. You can. This is where it gets messy, people.
Okay, I'm gonna try.
All right, and there you have it. She's making these beautiful little stars along there. And this could be the topping for a soap. You don't have to build the soap up as high as the one that's in the background. If you wanted to just make decorations with it, the tips do a beautiful job of creating details on the soap. I could definitely see this being as something that I would do on a bar of soap. And the way you make the round soaps, if you don't have the mold for it, go out and buy a can of Pringles, wash it really good, sanitize it really good, and you can use that soap Pringle can. And of course you want to line it really good with like wax paper. And when you go to take it out, it looks really good. That was really nice, Sage. Except that if it would harden into a regular bar of soap, that might hurt somebody. Those points like that. When you're using this tip, you have to make a C turn with your wrist in order to get those tips to actually become an open petal of a flower. So yeah, in this instance, this would really hurt somebody if this were to be a bar of soap. Lift. Squeeze, 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 turn, lift. And you see how beautiful they are? And you can make them as small and as big as you want, because this tip, the 1M tip, is what's doing it. These look really nice. Now you can see the difference in the ones that she's doing this way compared to the ones that she did over here. And I use that very same tip to do this. See that? Good job, Sage. That looks really good. Remember, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. I mean, it almost is as creative as you want to be with it. You know, you can do it. Remember, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze.
And I recommend that the frosting be edible and up to date, because some children will put it in their mouth.
Right. Awesome. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Like and comment down below. This is Sonia saying thank you so much again, and enjoy the rest of the day. I'll catch you guys on whatever it is I'm working on next. Bye.